Listen, joining me now, California Congressman Ted Lieu, a Democratic member of the Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees and a good friend to us here. Thanks for joining me, Congressman. Trump supporters at these D.C. demonstrations cheering on the president's challenge to the election. But as you know, right now, the president and the GOP have 15 active lawsuits across 5 battleground states. So as a Judiciary Committee member, what do you make of the president's legal strategy? Has his team made either a compelling or legitimate case anywhere?
Thank you, Alex, for your question. Before I answer that, I just want to note that when you look at the images of the Million MAGA March, it was a catastrophic failure. They were expecting 1 million people. Only a few thousand showed up. That's why Donald Trump is playing golf today and not speaking to the embarrassingly small crowd size. Now, when you look at the legal cases, Donald Trump's campaign has lost 20 cases in court. And that's because courts actually require evidence. You can't just go up and lie. Essentially, these lawsuits are frivolous. It's simply like a tweet with a filing fee. There's no evidence to any of these lawsuits. That's why Donald Trump's campaign is not going to win in the courts, and he's not going to be president next term.
Let me look at another aspect here, because as you know, some Republicans have been floating another tactic to try to keep him in the White House. They're trying to get faithless electors to vote against the will of the people when electors meet on December 14th. And Congressman, I know you tweeted that this strategy is not only unconstitutional, but also stupid. So is it safe to say that's not happening?
It absolutely will not happen. The Trump campaign doesn't seem to understand that these electors are Democrats. So when Georgia sends its slate of 16 electors to go vote in Electoral College, one of them is going to be Stacey Abrams. The other 15 are all Democrats. They are going to crawl through broken glass to make sure they cast their vote for Joe Biden. You're not going to get a Democratic elector to switch that vote and then cast it for Donald Trump. It's simply not going to happen.
Okay, let's move on to this in terms of the Biden transition. Pressure certainly mounting for General Services Administrator Emily Murphy seen there to allow the flow of resources to President-elect Biden's transition process. And I know you tweeted this saying, you know what will fix this problem? Exercising Congress's power of inherent contempt. We can make that House rules change next week. Congressman, would that fix the situation? Would it be difficult to get that rule changed?
It would not. It would simply require a majority vote of the House of Representatives. We don't need the Senate to act. And what this comes down to is that right now, Congress has no real enforcement mechanism for lawful subpoenas. The only way we can enforce our subpoenas is to litigate, and it takes years for that to finish. So what happened is the Trump administration simply ignored congressional subpoenas. There was no consequences for them ignoring it. We can fix this by simply passing this rules change, and I hope that we're able to do that.
What kind of concerns do you have about the transition process being held up?
One concern is it is damaging to democracy when Donald Trump makes false and misleading statements on social media, when they file frivolous lawsuits, and they are able to convince some of their supporters that somehow this election was not legitimate. The exact opposite is true. This election not only was legitimate, it was not even close at the presidential level. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump like a drum. He beat him by over 5 million votes nationwide. It's on track to be somewhere between 6 and 7 million. And Joe Biden secured 306 electoral votes. This was not a close presidential election.
Okay. Let's offer congratulations on your reelection there. But many of your colleagues, as you know, did not fare as well. And your party managing to hold on to a majority, but a much narrower one, after suffering multiple defeats. There's a new Politico report that takes a look inside the House Democrats' post-election reckoning. And it details how the fight over policing, misplaced faith in polling, and ignored warnings from incumbents were really the major factors in the outcome. What do you think happened?
So we should wait for all the data to come in. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is going to do a deep dive into what happened in this election. At the end of the day, however, there is a fundamental truth. The way that we keep our majority in the House of Representatives is not by winning blue districts like mine. It's by winning purple districts. The way we win presidential elections is by winning swing states. The way you win these states and these districts is you have to do two things. You have to energize your base, and you have to win independents, and in some cases, moderate Republicans. You can't do one or the other. You have to do both. It's simply a function of math. And that's why we have to unite. because united we stand, divided we're going to lose.
Congressman Ted Lieu, always with wise words for us. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Let's get out of the day's big headline.